Hey you guys, it's Sarah here and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make this really sweet barnyard activity finger puppet animal page. I do have a free version of this. I did this quite a while ago, about a year ago. It's a little bit simpler than this. I have a free one on my website if you want to print that out and cut out the pieces and make a busy book for your little one. I also have the exact template that I use for this available on my Patreon, the exact one that I use in bulk, cutting it out with your cutting machine. So I'm going to show you how I put it together. It's really, really cute and I absolutely love this one. If you are interested in my Patreon or you're a part of it or you're curious, stay to the end. I'll show you what the template looks like that you get when you sign up, and I'll go through it to show you what pieces need to be cut and how many you get of each piece and all that. And I'll leave a link to all the materials that I use in the description below. And also, if you see my videos before, you know I don't normally have these like flowers hanging from my ceiling and from my walls. We hosted my mom's 70th birthday party last week, but I just think they look so pretty. I don't want to take them down. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much, you guys. Please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel if you have been enjoying these videos, and I will see you in the next one. So as always, I'm starting with an 8" by 8" sheet of felt. I'm using my nice stiff Korean felt. It is 1.2 millimeters thick. I have it available to purchase on my website if you'd like. And you can see these little bags here. This is the very high-tech, fancy way that I have of storing all the pieces when I'm cutting pieces in bulk. And you can see that most of the bags are empty because I've already gone ahead and made 5 sets of my barnyard animals. So I just saved this 6th set so that I can show you guys how I put it together. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the pieces out. You'll see that some of the baggies have like a ton of pieces in them. That's because with the template from my Patreon, which I'll show you at the end, some of the sets, like I fill it as much as possible. So some of them cut out more than enough for 6 sets. Some of them will cut out enough for like 12 or 18, and so I just keep those in a bag and I save them for the next time I'm making this activity. The pig, I accidentally already sewed the pig together when I was working on my other 5 sets. That's its face. Here is the pieces for the cow. So you need the 2 copies, the front and back, the cow like nose / mouth, and then 2 of the little rainbow drop looking pieces for between the ears. And in these little baggies, I'll just leave these in there. These are for the white and black circles for the eyes. And then I'll leave these in here for now as well. This is for the page, the barn pieces for the page. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with doing what I did with the pig. And I'm just going to sew 2 copies all around the borders, leaving the bottom parts open so that children can use it as finger puppets. And I'm doing the goat and the cow. Those are the only ones that I have to be careful. Just remember to put the horns in between at the top so that you sew those in. And same thing with the cow. Put the 2 little black rainbow drop looking pieces, put them in between the ears when you sew so that they attach in there. Okay, that's all of the finger puppets sewn now. Next, I'm going to just put my sewing machine to the side. Let's zoom in a little bit here. And I'm going to get the details hot glued onto the faces of the finger puppets. And I'm just going to go ahead and get that done and out of the way so that I don't lose any pieces. So you're going to need 12 of the white circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you'll also need, you're actually going to need 13 of the little black circles because I use one of the black circles as the nose for the goat. So I'll count those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So let's go ahead and I'll start with the sheep. So just going to apply hot glue and glue on the sheep hair, or the sheep wool, I guess, on the head and the body. And then I'm going to use hot glue and put on the 2 white eyes and 2 black eyes. The little chickadee, I'm just going to apply hot glue on the bottom of the top hair, and then I'll glue on the little chin there, and again the 2 eyes. Okay, let's do the goat next. For the goat, I have a white belly and a white strip of hair that goes down the middle, and then the little beard that billy goats tend to have. And then I'll use one of the black circles for the nose. And then the 2 eyes. And then we'll do the horse. So actually with the horse, I start out with the eyes. I do those first. And then I put the horse hair kind of covering one eye. So when I put on the horse hair, I just glue it at the top there and kind of have it to the side. So it's not covering one eye totally, but it's just a little bit. And then we'll put on the nose. And let's do the cow and the pig. Start with the cow nose / mouth, I guess. Okay, and then let's do the pig. Okay, so that's the finger puppets mostly done. I have to let the hot glue dry on that pig still. They're mostly done, but I am going to be, excuse me, I am going to be drawing on some details on their faces at the end of this video. I'm going to keep my hot glue gun on because I'm still not done with that, but I'm going to put these aside for just a minute. They're not quite done, but they're mostly done. I just want to get all the sewing done and out of the way. So I'm going to grab my barn pieces and my 8" by 8" sheet of felt, and I'm going to start with sewing on my barn, and I'm going to place it pretty near the top of my page, and I'm also going to tuck underneath my barn these 4 red tabs. I'm just going to have them coming out to reach about the end of the page. These are how I will be connecting the barn doors. And so when I sew around the whole border of this barn, I'm going to sew those in place as well. And then I have these 2 fences. I'm going to put one right along the bottom and one right about here, and I'm going to go ahead and sew around the whole border. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to sew around the whole border, and then I'm going to sew right across the bottom here. That way I can get the fences attached at the same time that I am getting the whole barn attached. Okay, so there's the whole barn attached, all with one stitch. It's little things like that that just help speed up the process. Then I'm going to do a similar thing with the grass. I'm going to put a green rectangle strip. I'm going to put that down, but underneath I'm going to tuck in these 2 green tabs, and I'm just going to sew at the sides and across the bottom. Alrighty, next I'm going to go ahead and grab the 2 red rectangle pieces, and I'm going to hot glue on. Oh, my hot glue gun turned off. Once it is hot enough again, I'm going to hot glue on these 2 white cutouts onto the doors, and I will hot glue on this rooftop piece, and I will hot glue on the doors onto the tabs here. So I'll just apply a dab of hot glue here and here and make it so that the doors will attach and close, open and close. And then you'll have this 5th little red tab included in the template if you're using my template on Patreon. I'm going to hot glue half of it onto the inside of one of the doors. And then I'm going to take my tiny little self-adhesive Velcro dots. I believe they're 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters in size, or really close. Like you can see, they're just little. I'll leave the link for them below in the description. And I'm going to hot glue one of them onto the other side of that little tab that I just glued on the door. And then I'm going to attach the other one, the Velcro sticky side on. I'm going to apply the hot glue, and then I'm going to shut the other door on top of it. and then hold it there for a minute. This is a little trick that I use sometimes just to help make sure that the dots are lining up correctly so that they will, you know, grab each other. Probably if I had have just taken a guess, it would have worked out fine as well. Okay, so I'll let those dry. And then I'm also going to take another strip of green felt, and I'm going to apply hot glue on these two tabs, and I'm going to stick that right on. I'm going to put 2 Velcro dots on each side of this green piece. And don't put them like too close to the edge because we are still going to have to sew around the border. So you don't want the Velcro dots to get in the way of your sewing when we sew on the back side of this. And then I'm going to put the other 2 Velcro dots on the bottom square. And then what I've also done is I've just taken some blue and brown felt and I've freehand cut out these little puddles, or like a little pond or slash a little mud puddle, and I'm using my wave edge scissors. These are strong enough to cut through fabric. They're meant to cut through fabric. I know we've all seen those paper scissors before that cut cool patterns on paper. Well, they make them for fabric as well. So I have a scallop edge one, I have a zigzag one, and I have a wavy one. And so I use that to just freehand cut out these little pieces here. And I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue the bottom of the, oh, I accidentally turned my hot glue gun off again, so it's not hot enough. I'm going to hot glue the bottom onto the bottom of the mud puddle onto this bottom piece of felt, and then I'll hot glue the bottom of the pond down as well. But again, you just have to be careful not to get any hot glue where you're going to be sewing around the border to connect the back side of this page. So I'm going to apply hot glue on this pond, but I'm just going to glue it a little bit higher, just high enough that it won't be in the way when I stitch. And then you can keep that closed. The barn doors will be closed, the puppets will be inside, and then this will also act as 2 little pockets for kids to store the finger puppets. Oh, and then I still have to hot glue on my roof. You could also sew this on. It would be probably just as quick. In my case, probably even quicker because my hot glue gun had cooled off a little bit. That's all the hot gluing, so I'm going to put my hot glue gun away. And then let me show you guys these really cool paint markers that I got. My daughter told me about them. She had wanted the Posco brand. I just bought this one. It's Hual. I don't even know how to say that. They're just like paint markers. So what I do is I use them to draw on the details now. So on the horse, I'm going to draw on 2 little nostrils. On the cow, I'm going to just draw on some black spots and color them in. I just really like them because normally I will use like permanent markers or Sharpie markers or even fabric markers. But the problem with using markers is you can really only do it on white felt or a very light colored felt in order to get it to show. But if you're using paint, because it looks like I'm coloring with a marker, but this is actually just paint. And forgive me if you're like already familiar with these, but I just think they're so cool. And then I'm going to just draw this on as well. I'll leave the link for them below. This isn't any sponsor, so I'm not sponsoring any particular brand or anything. I think there's probably a ton of brands. I just happen to use this one. This is the first one that I've ever used, and it seems fine. My daughter also was shown, I guess, a brand called Posco at school. Oh, I also wanted to draw on some little cow udders, but I think I already put on the black paint and got the black paint in the way, but that's okay. For the sheep, I'm just going to draw on, should I do a pink or a black nose? I'll do a little pink nose for the sheep. For the chicken, I'm going to use orange and draw on the beak. And I just love this because little details like the beak, like this saves me from having to cut out these tiny little orange triangles and using up, you know, a full sheet of felt just for a silly little orange triangle. And it's just as cute and works just as well to paint it on, really. I'll use a little pink for the pig's nostrils. The goat, I don't think I need any details, and the horse we're already done. So that's all the finger puppets. Those are totally done. And then on here, I'm just gonna draw on a few details onto the grass here and in the pond. So this is pretty much done. The paint dries really quickly as well, so I'll leave it to the side, or no, I won't even bother leaving it to the side. It dries really quick. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my binding pieces that I just pre-cut with my scallop edge fabric scissors. I cut these out at night when I'm watching a show. They're just thick felt. I use either 2 or 3 millimeter thick felt, and I just place it in between the front and back side of a felt sheet. In this case, I've taken another 8" by 8" sheet and I wrapped it in a really cute sheep fabric that I had just to kind of go with the barn animal theme. So I'm going to clip that onto the front side. And I will put the binding piece in between the front and the back piece, and I'll just sew around the border here, and I'll leave the green part open. I don't want to sew that down, so I'm just going to leave that open and sew around the whole border. And some of you asked me, what is the size of these binding pieces? I don't even know. I just cut them out. I don't measure them. They're big enough to fit in between the 8" by 8" sheets of felt. So I'd estimate they're about 6 inches by maybe by 2 inches. Now that that's all sewed together, I'm going to go ahead and do everyone's favorite part, which is use my heavy duty hole punch and use it to hole punch 2 holes into the binding piece. Sometimes I have to cut, it doesn't cut all the way through. I've used this hole punch probably thousands of times now, so sometimes I do forgive it if it doesn't cut all the way through. And that's what I use to bind the pages together and create a little book so customers can build their own custom busy book. And that's the whole page, so kids can open up the barnyard doors. And when I'm selling these at craft shows, I just tuck all the little barn animals into the pockets of the fence and in the pockets of the grass. And then if people want to come and explore the page, they can come and open up the barnyard doors, and then they can unfold the grass and the little pig can go in the mud. The little horse can, oh, oops, that was a spare Velcro dot that got stuck to the pig there. The little pig can go in the mud or they can go in the water. And yeah, it's just a really cute, fun, imaginative, play-based game for kids. So that's how you make this page. I hope you guys enjoy that. Stay tuned if you want to see the template that's available on my Patreon. My Patreon is primarily for people who are like me and who are making and selling these busy books using a cutting machine. I use a Cricut, but whatever cutting machine you use, the templates should be fine. They're available in JPEG, and I'm also now uploading them in SVG files as well. So you get the exact same template that I use to cut out my pages. And I think I've got about 50 posts up there so far. I upload at least 2 every month. The goal being to just literally have never-ending hundreds of templates for all of us who want to make and sell books to choose from and to sell. And don't forget too about the PDF free template on my website. It isn't the exact same as this. It's much simpler, still very cute. And I don't think it includes all of these animals. I think it might have 4 or 5 of them. So if you want to make this by hand and cut the pieces out, you can use my template. It's totally free. Altogether, this page took me 30 minutes to assemble it. And then I would give another 20 minutes put aside for all the cutting time, including the time to like cut out my binding piece, to cut out the sheet of fabric and wrap it, and including the time that it takes for the Cricut or your cutting machine to cut out all of the little pieces. Again, I'm cutting my pieces in bulk, so I'm cutting a minimum of 6 sets of this page all at once. So that might take me about 2 hours to do, and I'm doing all the cutting at once. But when you divide that by the 6 pages, or even more than 6 pages, because like I said, look at how many eyes I still have left over. So like the next time I make this activity, the next time I do another 6 sets, I'm not going to have to cut out the eyes again. I'm not going to have to cut out the cow pieces or the horse or the goat pieces because I already have a ton of those still. So I say it cuts enough for at least 6. That's the reason why. So I would just put aside about 20 minutes for all the cutting time as well. And yeah, if you want details about the cost and what I sell this for and the profit margins, I put that all on my Patreon. Okay, thanks so much, you guys, and I will see you in the next video. So here's the template that I have that will be available on my Patreon. I don't have it posted yet, but all of this will be shown, and you'll see this page for a color reference guide. And then all of these individual templates will be shown in black and white. So as always, they're meant to cut on a 30, each one is cut on a 30 by 30 centimeter or 12-inch by 12-inch sheet of felt. And so as you can see, like this one is going to be the brown horse. You can see there's 12 cutouts, which will make enough for 6 finger puppets. Same with the pigs and the nose of the pigs, the chicken, the cow, and the sheep and the goat. And then you can see, so just doing one of each of those cuts will give you enough to make 6 sets. And then you have the red barn. One cut of this will give you enough for 2 barns, and then enough for all the tabs for 2 activity pages. And then it also includes 2 copies of the chickadee's chin and hair. And then same idea with the white one, you get enough for 2 barnyards, and then there's 2 sets of the sheep's wool and 2 sets of the white pieces that are needed for the goat. So if you want to do enough for 6, you're going to need to do 3 cuts of each for the red and the white ones. And then you get a whole bunch of cutouts here in the dark brown for the horse hair and the goat hair. I don't even know how many that is. 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it must be about 36. So you just get a ton. I just filled it as much as I could. And then same idea with the little cow pieces. So like I showed you, you get a whole bunch. Same with the eyes, the white eyes and the black eyes. So you just save those for each time you're ready to make this set. And then there is enough here for, I believe, 1, 2, 3, I believe 4 for the green grass. So you're gonna have to do 2 cuts. That'll give you enough for 8. So I just use the first 6 when I'm making it and then save the other 2 for the next time I make this. Then I'll just need to cut out 1 of these and I'll have enough for 6 with my 2 left over. As always, the dimensions will be shown in the caption of each photo, so you can just save the JPEG file or save the SVG, load it into your design space, and then you adjust it to the indicated size. So I will put in the caption of how big you need to adjust it to get the same sizing that I use. Of course, you can readjust everything to do your own sizing. You can change the template around if you want to, but I just share it exactly as I use it. So if you're wanting to make those, you can. Okay, thanks so much, you guys. Hope you enjoy this, and I will see you soon.